heart and your head, you know.
Hi,
Hey.
Gina.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good.
Yeah,
Good?
I'm good.
Yeah. Where do you guys live again?
We're in Orlando,
Oh,
Florida.
okay. Okay, awesome. Well, everyone, I'm Gena Sims. I run the Autism Theater Project, and it has been wonderful through the magic of social media to meet Danny and his mother. Could you guys introduce yourselves?
I'm Karen Franzel. I'm Danny's mom. And Danny, can you tell Gina who you are? Say,
Hi,
look up.
I'm Danny,
And what are you, Danny? You're in?
acrobat.
Right.
That's awesome. That is wonderful. Something I love about what you do, Danny, is that you quite literally defy gravity and take risks with what you do on stage. Uh, could you tell me what first inspired you to become an acrobat?
Have you always wanted to be an acrobat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Do you remember when you were watching the Olympics when you were really little and you loved the Olympics? You loved watching and you tried to do everything that you saw on the sofa. Remember that?
Yeah.
And what did mommy buy you? Mom and dad. Dad's here actually. This is dad. Dad didn't introduce himself. Can you lean
Hi,
over?
yeah, I'm Steve.
This
Hi,
is
Steve.
Dan's
Hi, nice
dad.
to meet you.
What did we get you when you loved doing that? Doing all those bouncing around on the sofa and climbing the swing set. We got you a big trampoline.
Trampoline.
A trampoline.
Big
Oh,
trampoline.
awesome. My dad got that for my sister too, who's on the spectrum.
Yeah, Danny loves bouncing on the trampoline. Even now, he still loves it, right? You still love it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a great training tool for him.
Yeah.
That's
I bet your sister loves it too, doesn't she?
She likes it. She likes it. She does like gravity. Unlike Danny, she does like being on the ground. So the jumping can sometimes she's got to warm up to get into it, but then once she gets into it, she's into it, you know. Um, awesome. Great. Well, Danny, was it the 2008 Olympics
Um,
that he first?
let's see. He was about 2 years old,
Oh,
so it was probably the 2004
oh, okay.
Olympics.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't remember it back then. The last one,
Right. I know
earlier,
most people don't.
yeah.
When I talk to kids and I said, you know, Danny was watching the 2004 Olympics, they're like, "Whoa, that's like so long ago, right?"
Right.
That was beyond most of our audience members before they were born.
I was still I was on this earth. I was well into my my little kid years, but I don't remember it like I remember the 2008 Olympics. But anyway, that's awesome. That's very cool. So, Danny, when did you first start doing this professionally? When did you first start training?
Danny, do you remember when you first went to Shava's?
Yes.
How old were you? About
12.
Yeah.
Wow.
He started gymnastics when he was really young, about 2.5 or 3. And I would take him to the Mommy and Me gymnastics at the Y, and he loved that. And then when he got a little bit older, I had him in private gymnastics lessons, one-on-one, because then you didn't, back then, you didn't like working in groups, did you, so much?
Yes.
But now you like working in groups,
Yes.
right? Yeah, he goes to adult gymnastics class even now. But so for, I'd say about 10 years, Danny, you did private gymnastics lessons, right?
Right.
And then he told me one day, what did you say? You said, I'm an
Acrobat.
right. And when he told me that, then I went looking for a acrobat coach, and I got so lucky to find a Disney performer who used to be in the Ringling Brothers circus, And he and Danny really hit it off, and they've been training together for the past 12 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Danny, do you remember when you first started doing aerials on the silks as opposed to just doing floor gymnastics work?
I think you were about, Danny, I think you were, I think you were about 12. I think you were 11 going on 12.
Right.
Right.
Hmm. Okay, so pretty much from the beginning of his training, he started doing the silks.
That was the first thing he started doing when he started doing circus arts. It was aerial silks.
Okay. Okay.
And then he's just continued with tumbling, and he's included trapeze.
Wow. When I was a kid, I went to a summer camp called Frenchwood Festival of Performing Arts that had circus in it, but I was always too scared to do something, especially like the silks. So I really admire your bravery, Danny. Danny, could you describe how performing makes you feel?
And look at Gena. How does performing in front of people make you feel?
Good.
You feel good?
Yeah.
Do you ever feel scared?
Scared. No.
No.
No, never scared. No, he's not scared at all. He's pretty fearless. Because I think for most people, talking like we're doing now makes us feel comfortable. We're getting to know each other. But for Danny, it's doing things. It's those gross and fine motor skills. And being up on the silks or on the trapeze or tumbling, that's his means of communicating, right, Danny? Right? Would you say that's true or not true? That's fine. Sometimes it takes a little while to get an answer. I might get an answer probably tomorrow to that question, but that's okay. I
Well,
can tell you he loves it.
mhm. Well, talking about performing and what it means to a performer is a deep subject. So there's a lot that could be going through his mind in terms of all that it means to him and how he wants to express that. So I respect that. Um, how would both of you describe what he's communicating when he performs to audiences?
Hmm. That is a really good question. And that's another one that I would have to give some thought to. Danny, how do you feel when you are performing, when you're doing the silks? How do you feel? Feel happy?
Happy.
And what are you saying to people? Are you saying, yes,
Yes.
I can?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, that's I think the theme of a lot of his work is yes, I can, because when people are telling you you have limitations or you have some sort of condition or you have some sort of diagnosis, people are always saying, well, you can't do this or you can't do that. But I think, Danny, would you agree that when you're performing and when you're doing things that you've trained for and you've practiced, you're saying, yes, I can. I can do it. I'm capable. Would you agree to that? I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Thumbs up.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is awesome. Do you have a
Yeah.
favorite
I
performance?
love the way that he can express himself in other ways besides verbally, because he understands everything you're saying. There's no problem with his receptive skills. The problem's always been his expressive language and answering in a timely manner and kind of spontaneously talking. If it's something that he really wants or it's been on his mind, then he will be spontaneous and tell you, I want this or I want that. But to kind of be put on the spot with a question that he hasn't had time to ponder or hasn't really been asked before, it requires more time than typical, more time than we have today.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a favorite performance that you've seen Danny do?
Well, I absolutely love his aerial silk show, and he's been doing that professionally since about June. He started when he finished high school, extended high school in June. We went out to Seattle to Senka, and he was the artist in residence out there, and he was performing for about 6 weeks for their camp group. And I love that aerial silk show. I also love to see him on the static trapeze because it requires so much skill and strength and balance. And I can see that he's happy with himself. You know, he knows I've got this, I can do it. And I love to see you smile, Danny. I love to see that confidence in you. Can you smile? I love that. And he's done a lot of tumbling too. And at Senka, they had a great tumble track, and he literally spent hours on that, learning front handsprings, back handsprings, front flips, back flips, tucks, pikes, handstand, forward roll. He spent literally probably 4 to 5 hours a day all summer, last summer, doing practicing on the tumble track.
Well,
So now he's got it, and I think he's going to have a ground show that involves kite flying, tumble track, and the poi balls.
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I know we've talked about possibly having Danny be featured at one of Autism Theater Project's events where he could do that ground show, or possibly if we're in a theater where we're able to get the silks safely set up, then possibly you could do an aerial show with us one day. That would be awesome.
Would you like to do a show with Gena?
Yes.
Yes, he would. The answer is always yes. Would you like to do a show? Because he loves to perform in front of people.
Wonderful. That's awesome. Well, what would you say, having experienced raising Danny and seeing him accomplish all that he's accomplished so far, what would you say you wish other people understood about autism?
Well, I don't criticize anyone because it really hit us like a ton of bricks. I did not grow up knowing about this disorder condition. I, was pretty much in denial for a long time because I knew that there were so many factors that could go into any kind of diagnosis. There's environmental factors, there's molecular, there's so many possibilities that could be causing a pretty rapid regression in speech and stimming behavior. So I think for a long time, the focus was just on therapy, just getting him to a point where he was ready to learn, because he was very hyper and liked to run around a lot and had very little concentration. He really didn't focus on much at all, except when he got on the trampoline. Then he could focus. Maybe his dad should weigh in on that. Steve, what do you think of that?
I think he's trying to, I think we want people to understand that, that just because somebody has a disability in a particular area doesn't mean their disability runs across all areas, and that each of us has different ways of doing what we do best in different ways. And I think that Danny shows that just because he has issues with communication, with verbal communication, doesn't mean he can't communicate and perform in other ways. I think that's the thing that people who know Danny, or people who see Danny, learn when they see him perform, that how skilled and how strong he is in doing this and communicating in his own way, his own fashion, even if it doesn't involve the verbal communication.
Yeah, there was a boy I probably shouldn't say his name. Maybe I can say his nickname and people may know who I'm talking about. Chachi was an amazing kid. I remember he was in school with Danny. They were in therapy like 4 or 5 hours a day. Say, excuse
me.
Oh, you're going somewhere. Okay. He's gone.
He'll be back.
He may come back. And he had an amazing way with animals, and he loved animals. Danny's unwinding on his trampoline over there, his mini trampoline. And he now is in college in a zoology program. And so, you know, his mom, I have to give her a lot of credit. She put him in zoo camps. He was in dolphin training summer camp. You know, she just noticed what his interests were and kind of went from there. And the same thing with Danny. I could see that, you know, he likes math and he likes to read, but I know that conversation is extremely taxing on him. You know, it just drains him emotionally. But I could see that physical activities were really his thing. So he loves to bike ride. We can go on long bike rides. He loves to ride his kick scooter. He loves to play on the playground. Not necessarily with other kids on the playground, but he definitely loves to climb trees. And he likes to do any kind of individual activity, golf, any love putt-putt golf.
The other thing we want to communicate is that you know, with kids with autism, you have to explore and experiment and try to find those different ways. I mean, if you think about it, you know, it was Karen's really initiative going around and identifying. You know, we knew he loved climbing trees, and we knew he loved jumping, and he'd climb the walls. You know, but we couldn't really figure out, you know, how that. I mean, we couldn't think of how that could be applied to anything artistic. You know, and Karen, to her credit, you know, found this teacher that was so wonderful. And it's no coincidence that teacher has a sister who has cerebral palsy. You see, so he had some contact with the whole area of disabilities. But the point I was trying to get to was that we want to communicate to parents with kids with autism to do a lot of exploration and find those special area or those special areas where your kid can excel, even if they you know, they have disabilities that affect them in other ways, like Danny's on communication.
Yeah, maybe some kids love to run. I have another friend, her son he could run for hours.
Or the animal thing that you were, you know, with Chachi that you were talking about. Yeah.
Or maybe they like to paint. Maybe they like to sculpt. You know, you just have to observe them very carefully, and you'll see that something motivates them more than others. And whatever that thing is, even if it's just a spark, kind of encourage that. And instead of trying to correct, well, I mean, obviously correct, you know, bad behavior, but rather than trying to force them to, you know, be an academic or, you know, be a more verbal, just find out what it is that motivates them and focus on that, focus on their strengths. Because they can be really amazing. I mean, it can be
we thought, you know, we
astounding.
always thought Danny had a problem focusing. And, you know, the problem wasn't that he couldn't focus. The problem was that we weren't giving him the things that he wanted to focus on, himself wanted to focus on. You know, when he gets up to 22 feet on the silks, you know, he focuses, and he focuses for, you know, it's basically a 90-minute session.
Wow.
Of course, with their breaks. But he's going up and down, up and down, up and down, and he's focusing all the time, you know, on what he's doing. Karen said he was fearless. Yes, but he's also very careful. He's very careful. You know, he knows exactly what he can do and what he can't do.
Right.
And his teacher says that he's the only student he's had who he's never had to climb up and rescue.
Wow.
You know, because he got tied up there, you know, with the silks.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, all of that is I'm sure very helpful, very, very helpful advice. And I love and respect how both of you have chosen to focus on finding the strengths and encouraging the strengths when I know at times it can be difficult when parents get concerned about the areas in which their child is struggling. It can be easy to focus on that. But when you focus on the strengths, then you can see how strengthening the weaknesses could support the strengths that they already have.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's important to give them some life skills and safety skills. Obviously, you don't want them behaving in a way that's going to be detrimental to you or them, especially in public. There are so many instances that, we just didn't get it right, especially on the playground, because somebody thought Danny wasn't being safe and I wasn't being a good mom because I was letting him climb this tree or I was letting him walk across the top of the playground bars. But he was doing that, really. I was just kind of supervising to make sure that he was okay. But I mean, he knew he could do it, and that he was explaining to me, hey, this is who I am and this is what I do. And you have to pay attention, probably more so to kids on the spectrum when they do want to communicate something to you than you would to typical kids. Because we have another son who's a year younger than Danny, and he just told us, up front, I want to be a baseball player. And so that was easy. We signed him up for Little League, and he's still playing baseball. He's in college now. He's still playing baseball. So, I mean, it's not that, people in general don't know what they like. The problem can just be in communicating that. And once they do communicate it in their own way, it's kind of up to you to be supportive as a parent and find those opportunities. So thankfully, we actually moved from Venice, Florida, to Orlando because there were more opportunities for kids with disabilities here. There were more therapy services, ABA therapy services, adaptive sports. We put Danny in a group called Gliding Stars for a little while, and that was adaptive ice skating. There was Buddy Ball, that was adaptive baseball. So, sometimes it takes a lot of effort. I'm not going to say it's easy, it's not, but it's worth it.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. Someone recently joined the live who is on the Autism Theater Project's team, and he's from Orlando. And we've been working on getting an event happening in Orlando. So it'd be wonderful to work with Danny at that event. What'd you say?
That's great. Danny's telling you that he's going to perform in Chicago soon.
Oh, okay.
Chicago
Okay.
circus.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So
Coming
Danny,
back home to Orlando on Southwest.
okay, Southwest Airlines. That's a nice airline.
Yes.
I like that one.
Yes.
Danny, do you have a dream job? Like, do you want to work with Cirque du Soleil, or do you have a dream circus job?
Or do you just want to perform wherever, whenever? Or say, let me think about that.
Performance.
Wherever? It's all performance?
He said performance. He wants to be a performer.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So as long as there's an audience and he can just keep doing it, he's happy. That sounds like the right attitude to have.
Yeah.
Danny, do you have any advice for other people on the spectrum who are teens or young adults? Like, if they ever feel like giving up, would you tell them to not give up or to believe in themselves?
Okay.
Sure.
What would you say? Try hard.
Try harder.
He said try harder.
Okay, I like that. Try harder. That's great advice. For sure. Awesome. Okay, great. Great. Is there anything else that you guys would like to share?
Well, we're really happy to have met you virtually. We'll be looking forward to meeting you in person. And we are always interested in collaborating and working on autism awareness projects and performance. And we are organizing a series of acrobatic and well, overall talent that focuses the talent of people on the autism spectrum. And we're working on that with New York Live Arts. And so we're still in the fundraising process right now, but we're really looking forward to putting on some shows that highlight all of the talent that people with autism have, and also just showing the value of neurodiversity in the performing arts.
Wonderful. Yeah, we're very excited about seeing how we could collaborate in the future. And I think it's wonderful that you guys share our mission of showcasing these artists on the spectrum who have these amazing talents. And I do think it's very important that we show audiences how watching a neurodivergent artist, actor, performer, a singer, speaker, how that really contributes to the audience's experience and their awareness. It's a uniquely deep kind of entertainment, I feel, because the audience can sense how much is possible for people who face all different kinds of challenges. So,
absolutely, great. Yeah.
Great. Well, we'll keep in touch. Everyone, follow Danny the Acrobat on Instagram. Keep up with his performances and what he's doing. And Karen, I look forward to staying in touch. And could you remind me of your name again?
Steve. I'm Steve.
Steve. It was great to meet you. And Danny, yes, Danny,
and Karen.
it was great meeting you too. Yeah.
And well, thanks for having us on. This was fun. It's always fun talking about what Danny's doing.
Bye. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
Danny said bye.